Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, diplomacy, as we know it, is changing. Or should I say, geography is the one changing. Every day we wake up to news of kidnapped presidents, new acting presidents, and new aspiring presidents. Well, American President Donald Trump has a dream of Akhand America. A united America where MAGA, Make America Great Again, rules. We are going to get you a map of President Trump's dream. What does he really dream of when he talks about Akhand America? Well, we are going to show you. There you have it on your screens. This is the idea of Akhand America. It, of course, as America. You can see America there marked out in red, and of course Alaska, which is already American territory. But it's not just that. Let's move on. Show you what else it is that Trump's dil mange more, very clearly. He also wants Canada. That's the entire area. He's called Canada the 51st state of America, saying, come, join us. But not just Canada. Of course, there are others as well. Greenland. Trump doesn't want Greenland to simply join America. He is very benevolently also offered to buy Greenland. Buy Greenland from Denmark. Well, then there is Colombia, part of the larger Akhand America dream. Colombia, they say that it is already being run by America now. Mexico, however, that is one state, nation state, that President Trump doesn't want. What he does want, however, in Mexico is to erect a big wall to ensure that there is no welcome when it comes to Mexico. He only wants control at the border. But let's first circle back again to Greenland, because this is the one which has evoked the maximum amount of interest now. Can Trump really buy Greenland? Why has Denmark drawn a red line around Greenland, and what do the people of Greenland really want? Over the course of this show, we are going to decode Trump's power push to purchase Greenland. We are going to explain to you what international laws say about buying a sovereign nation. Is it possible? And what about the mandate and the whip of the people and their territorial aspirations? This wouldn't be, however, the first time that America has bought a territory, which is why perhaps many feel Trump may just pull it off. Remember, in 1803, Louisiana was bought by America. At that time, it was bought by France. In having bought Louisiana, US managed to double its size. Then in 1867, Alaska was bought by America from Russia. Many have said that it was a gold mine that they struck with this deal, making America great for sure. In 1853, you had the Gadsden Purchase, which was made by America. This was land which was bought from Mexico or Mexico. 1917, US Virgin Islands. This is another territory. You may or may not know, this is another territory which was indeed bought by America, this time around from Denmark. So, perhaps many would say Trump thinks, well, he's got a shot. But many would say that in today's day and age, can a country really buy another country? Well, we'll get into all of that in a bit. But what has transpired in the meeting between America and Denmark yesterday is going to be of utmost significance. But first, let's tell you about the psychological war which is being played by President Trump in pressurizing Denmark to give up Greenland and to get Greenland to be part of this. We are showing you now on your screens this meme fest. What you have on your screens has been posted by the White House itself. White House has been trolling Greenland with this concerning meme before the meeting between America and Denmark over the fate of Greenland. And this is an interesting illustration you can see very clearly on your screens. It is depicting a choice that Greenland has, showing that one path is leading towards the American flag, and that part is shown with blue skies, clear skies, and there is another more foreboding road you can see with thunder and lightning. And what's on the other path? Well, none other than the Russian and the Chinese flags. Remember, Trump has been saying that it's a that if America doesn't buy Greenland, then it will be taken over by Russia and China. And that's the clear path, the clear choice that the White House says that Greenland had. This one is captioned, "Which way Greenland man?" Well, there you have it, self-explanatory. Let's show you another post which is doing the rounds, and this one too is being shared by the White House handle. This one shows President Donald Trump staring at a map of Greenland, reigniting fears that yes, he's still looking to take over the territory. You can see that he's looking out what appears to be a map of Greenland. It was actually part of a press conference when he had stepped out to look outside, and then you have it being photoshopped. The White House themselves put out this post. You have President Trump looking at Greenland, making his intentions very clear. Well, take a look at the next meme. You can see the animals in Greenland is what it depicts, and this one has been going viral as well. You can see your polar bears, you can see your penguins, you can see the walrus, them saying, "Send him back home." And of course, you have President Trump sitting there in a raft and rowing towards Greenland, what appears to be an iceberg in Greenland. And you have all the animals of Greenland there saying, "Send him back, send him back." Well, there you have it, one of the memes doing the round. Another one that you have, we are going to put that up on your screens. This one shows a man lying on a bed of money with the caption, "Cartographers when Trump wants to annex and rename stuff." Essentially, it implies that map makers have a dream, and this is a dream which is coming true because every day maps are changing and money is being made because President Trump is fast changing the geographical boundaries of the world. Well, the next one. Well, this meme, for instance, it references President Trump's past remarks on acquiring territories, portraying the idea of Akhand America, as I was telling you earlier, or the whole of America as well. This one, well, I guess you have to be Indian to understand the Akhand America pun there. Well, the last one of the lot. This meme imagines President Trump negotiating the US acquisition of Greenland, quipping, "It's not even that green." Classic Trump, I guess. Well, there you have it. Negotiations hard and fast. President Trump negotiating and bargaining for Greenland, saying, "Well, it's not even that green." Well, the meme fest aside, but we are discussing a very serious matter here. After all, the US-Greenland issue is become of high priority. Across the world, everyone's watching, especially with the high-level talks which have happened between US officials, and this includes the Vice President of America, J.D. Vance as well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Danish and Greenlandic representatives. All of them met, however, they failed to resolve a fundamental differences over Greenland's future. Denmark's foreign minister has said that the meeting was frank but constructive, but that a fundamental disagreement remains over the US push for control of the territory. While a high-level working group was agreed to explore the cooperation, the talks did not change US's position as it stands today, nor did it lead to any breakthrough, as Denmark and Greenland continue to reaffirm that any takeover or transfer of their sovereign territory is unacceptable to them. Now, viewers, United States' interest in Greenland isn't new. Let me tell you, since when America has been eyeing Greenland. It all started in 1946 when you had US offering to buy Greenland from Denmark. At the time, Denmark said no. Then it was President Trump, again in his first term, of course, it was 2019, he said, "We are interested, very interested in Greenland." Denmark at the time had said it's absurd. But now again, this fresh bid has been made. But despite United States' interest, is it really possible for Donald Trump to buy Greenland is the question. Let me take you through the key problems here. The first problem is that no, not under international laws which are currently existing. Second problem, a sovereign state isn't real estate. Third problem, only with Greenland's consent can any territory be transferred to another with the consent of the people. The self-determination is a right that they all have. Also, it needs the approval of Denmark. Because remember, technically speaking, it may have its own government, but you have Denmark as part of the larger autonomous territory of Denmark, and Denmark is the nation which takes care of its foreign policy as well as its security and defense. So what really can be expected next, and is it even feasible? Let me put that question across to our panelists. Joining us today on the show, we have Angie Wong, Miami GOP Committee of Women. Also, we have Peter Kuznets, who's joining us, author and professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at the American University. I'm going to first start with Peter Kuznets, because we need to understand, how is it possible? Yes, many have said that America in the past has struck gold by buying territory, like it did with Alaska, several others as well. But is it possible in today's day and age to buy a nation if the people have the right of self-determination?
Well, this is Donald Trump, which means that the old rules no longer apply. So if Trump wants something, he believes he can take it. He can either buy it, as he's done throughout his life, or he can seize it. He doesn't care about international law. He doesn't care about U.S. law. He doesn't care about public opinion. This is a man who's going to go down among historians. They're going to rate him as the worst president in U.S. history. He's internationally reviled. In the United States, he's extremely unpopular, but he doesn't care because he's a pathological narcissist. So he doesn't care what goes on in the future after he's no longer here. So what is possible under Trump? We saw what he did in Venezuela. We see what he's doing in terms of Iran. He's egging on the protesters in Iran. At the same time, he's threatening the protesters in the United States. He's threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act against protesters in the United States while he's urging them to protest in Iran. So this is a man who's surrounded by enablers. He's got the fascists, the Stephen Millers, the Pete Hegseths, the Kristi Noems. He's got the imperialists, the Marco Rubios, and he's got a group around him of the most incompetent and stupid and ignorant advisors in American history. So,
harsh words there, very strong, harsh words there by Professor Kuznets. So in that case, Angie Wong, if that is the case, what's going to be the way forward? Is it simply that President Trump eyes and he takes what he wants, but can that be a long-term diplomatic solution?
Well, thank you for having me. And I don't agree with the professor. I don't believe that he is a narcissist, lying, pathological liar, whatever. All those words, they're, feel-good words for him. That's great. Here's what's going on. President Trump is positioning the United States to be a world leader again. We've plateaued in our American empire. We need to grow and gain additional land in order to do so. Now, he understands, along with his team, that if you can get the new Polar Silk Road, which is the Arctic shipping lanes, as well as the Panama Canal, which we are now starting to get under control again from the Chinese, then you control the Western Hemisphere as far as trade and shipping goes. That's extremely powerful. We need to have that not only for national security, but then for the growth of America. I think that's really what's going on here.
But yes, Angie Wong, many would say it's not good for the national security of the nations that you are eyeing.
I don't see how that wouldn't be a good idea for the U.S. national security. He's also trying to build the Golden Dome, which is going to be a $175 billion project, the same thing that Israel has currently. He's afraid of attacks to America, and that Greenland is pretty close to the mainland of America. But in order to do so, we need to secure that land. Now, what was really interesting with the Oval Office meeting between the Greenland, Denmark envoy is that the foreign minister of Denmark came out and said the three countries should work together. Why does he say that? Because Copenhagen can't support Greenland. Right now, the U.S. is investing over $4 billion. You mean militarily?
Because Angie Wong, in all fairness, they've come out and said we have not changed our stand, that Greenland is not for sale.
Well,
So
that's
militarily,
fine,
you
but right
mean
now the US
acquiring
is
Greenland?
protecting it. Well, yes, I think there could be a deal made. And I
Okay.
think anyone who understands President Trump understands him to be the art of the deal president. Even when he was doing his real estate deals, he throws out the most extreme offer out there just
Okay.
to see everyone's reactions. That's what he's always done his entire life.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. For sure, he's done that. He's always had us by surprise. And Professor Kuznit, many would say, why not? Maybe he's going to give a real estate offer to Denmark, but also something that even Angie Wong has said, you are not ruling out militarily taking action and acquiring it forcibly as well. Two dog sleds, I believe that's what it was called.
Trump has threatened that we're going to take it militarily if we need to. We could either do it the easy way or the hard way. The American people don't want this. 17% of the Americans in the polling said that they approve of the U.S. buying Greenland. Only 4% said they approve of the U.S. taking it militarily. And Angie says that the United States needs this, which is so mind-bogglingly absurd and imperialistic. But the United States, in order to build the Golden Dome is another one of these absurd ideas that Trump is throwing out there. You know, we've been working on missile defense for decades now, since Ronald Reagan came up with his cockamamie ideas of Star Wars. And even in controlled experiments, about 50% of the time, 56% of the time, they're able to hit a single incoming ballistic missile. But if there was ever an attack on the United States, there would be hundreds of ballistic missiles coming in and thousands of decoys. You know, this absurd waste of money. Trump came up with the idea of Greenland in a meeting with his old college friend, Ronald Lauder, in his first term. And Lauder's got this, the Estee Lauder fortune, heir, and he's got a lot of investments there. And he convinced Trump that they have nickel, they've got zinc, they've got oil, they've got gold, they got diamonds. And Trump's eyes lit up. And he said, wow, I want that, just like I want the oil in Venezuela. Flagrantly illegal internationally. And now he's threatening another country.
Illegal?
But this one is different.
It's illegal. Angie Wong, I'm running out of time, but respond to that. I have like 30 seconds left. I'll give that to you, Angie Wong. It's illegal, period.
It's not illegal at all. Not if Denmark wants to do it, and not if Greenlanders want to do it. Trump is offering them $100,000 per citizen and offering Denmark $500 to $700 billion for the land. This is a real estate deal. He is a real estate mogul. This is what we do. And I don't agree with President Trump just wanting to go in there and raid all the rare earth minerals. This is for the protection of the U.S. Right now, if the U.S. pulls out of their military base in Greenland, guess who's going to come in? China, Russia, other adversaries. We need this to protect our land.
We need this for our own protection, not really for the rare earth. But at the end of it, MAGA is Akhand America, the only way for MAGA. Well, I believe time will tell. Thank you so much, Angie Wong, as well as Peter Kuznit, for joining us here on the show. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.